All right, good morning, Wasteland. Mr. G here, and we are starting a series called Why You Suck at Building. And disclaimer, Mr. G, not the world's best builder, but I had a lot of help from Commodore 1983 on the Discord. Much better Crossout player than me. And we're going to do this as a series. We're going to cover different strategies of building. I'm making y'all dizzy. Sorry. We are going to start with the most important facet of building in Crossout, weapons. You should always design your whole vehicle around whatever weapon you're going to use. That includes the modules, you include the type of vehicle you're going to make and how you structure it. So step one, weapon archetypes and mixing weapons. As a general rule in Crossout, you don't want to mix different weapon types. In real life, that might be cool to have a machine gun and a cannon, so you can do long range with the cannon and then close in and use the tackler. But in Crossout, you're going to have two weapons that are only going to have half effectiveness. You're going to be either better off doing two cannons, obviously need more energy, or you're going to be better off doing two machine guns or two shotguns on your build, so that you can synergize the coolers, the reloads, the reload modules, and the ammo around those weapons, because cannons are going to have different modules that are going to help them versus tacklers and other machine guns or shotguns or whatever you choose. You're going to have different modules that are going to help with them. So you're going to have a completely different play style depending on the weapon you're going to do. So first step, decide what you want to do. Do you want to do cannons, or do you want to jump into machine gun? Do you want to go auto cannon? Do you want to go shotgun? Okay, that's going to get you started. Then you can think about the cabin you want to use, how you want to mount them, and how you want to armor them. Now, a lot of people struggle with mounting their weapons, but we're going to get to that in a minute. So I did say, hey, look, never mix and match weapons. Well, that's not entirely true. Now, this is an art build, so these guns are not armored at all, so they would get a Mr. G. Demerit, you didn't armor your guns, you're in big trouble, but obviously this is it's a tumbler from Batmobile. Now, a gun like this one might have a perk, like the Aurora heats up a part, and then it receives 100% more damage, and then these miniguns are going to have similar range and fire rate. Notice they have almost identical fire rates there. So the Aurora is going to go ahead and heat up the targeted parts, and then the miniguns are going to go ahead and deliver damage. So look, we've got similar range, we've got similar fire rate. These weapons, look at that, they're all going to heat at the same rate. They're going to synergize really well. They're going to work just fine together. So you've got to do your homework when you mix and match weapons, because the majority of the time, you're better off just doing one weapon type. Now, when you go to mount your weapons, a lot of players, maybe if you're new, you'll see this in the, under 30 engineer bracket when you're playing with new players, is they'll mount weapons to all kinds of stuff. Now, you want to be careful. Oh, it's my brother actually messaging me about my car in real life. Well, that's in my real life garage. Not right now, brother G. We'll talk to you in a minute. Sorry, this is what happens when I forget to mute Facebook, guys. So take a look at the durability on this part. It has a durability of 44. The gun has more durability than this part. So a smart player is just going to shoot this part, and then boom, your gun is done. So where should you mount your weapons? Excellent question. So glad you asked. Well, we're going to talk about your options for mounting different weapons. Your best option, depending on your build, is if you can mount directly to the cab. That's going to be the last thing to go. It's going to have the most durability of anything on your build, and it's going to be the last thing left standing. So if you can, always mount your weapons to your cab. You can always hit the F key. It's going to show you not only the firing arc of your weapon, it's going to show you weld points on the cabin. Now, if you can't mount to the cabin, you have some other options, like mounting to grill pieces. Now, why would we use grill pieces? Well, there's a number of these pieces, and they're important because, see that little feature there where it says 90%? That means that these have a pass-through ability, that 90% of bullets are going to pass through these and not damage them. Now, frames should have this as well. I'll show you guys that. So another option you can use are frames. Use the bigger frames, they're going to have more durability. So these ones you're going to get 90% pass through for bullets and 50% pass through from explosion damage there. So that's pretty nice right there. We'll talk about why that's important. So you got some options. You can mount your gun on either some frame, the cabin, or this piece is called a gun mount for a reason, because not only does it have pass-through, it has, it's some of the better durability-ish, 38, or you can go ahead and mount to something that has a ton of durability, like 94. That's going to have more durability than your gun. So those are kind of your options to use a grill, buggy floor, gun mount, cabin, or the frame itself. Never mount on those wimpy durability pieces that are going to get shot right off, guys. So next up, we're going to look at using guns as armor can sometimes be an option. So if you have like a really heavy gun like a Fat Man or an Elephant, or particularly the Mammoth, because this thing has a durability 1200, you can use this gun as armor. You don't need to particularly armor your Mammoths because they got a whole ton of durability. And look at that hitbox. It's just absolutely massive. Okay, on to gun placement and armoring. Okay, incorrect. Just place your gun with 0 armor at all. It's going to be really easy to hit. There's going to be nothing to block it from getting shot off. So some basic armoring. You can always use fenders. Fenders are a solid option. You can fit a lot of different types of guns inside fenders. So if you just go whatever parts you got. Now, obviously, you guys probably don't have quite as many as I do, but you can use half fenders, different parts. I mean, that's where you really get into the fun part of Crossout. It's just different ways you can make pieces fit. However you're going to want to get it in there. Yeah, obviously that one's not going to fit there. We're just playing around for example here. Another really good technique you want to use is if whatever bumpers you have, your bumpers are going to be your highest durability parts. If you can squeeze some bumpers in front of your weapons, see a small plow up top, look at that. That's going to have a durability of 216, and it's going to have a damage resistance as well. You're going to see that. It's just heavy duty. So whatever you can get that's going to be in between your weapon and line of fire, that's going to be important. However, you're always going to want to go ahead and test drive after. So now take a look. What do we have? We have a bit of an issue here, don't we? We cannot fire down. Yep. While we have armored it, our firing angles, no good. So you're going to have to play around with it, and that's really up to you to do your homework and decide how you want to mount your guns and how you really want to armor them up. But I'll give you a better example right now. Let's see if we can find... Where's my tiny fender? There's my Torino one. Yeah. Smaller fender here. So let's say we go ahead and switch to that. We'd switch to a smaller bumper. And then just feel it out. That's the joy of Crossout, is try different configurations, see if they work in Garage, play around with it. Alright, we've got a lot better firing angles here. We can shoot right in front of our vehicle. I mean, can we get it even, can we double up on this piece? Pop it back a little bit. What's our firing angle going to be now? Once again, yep, that one weld point up is really making us lose some firing angle. So, there's a lot of different configurations you could do. I mean, some people armor stuff up like nobody's business. I mean, look at this. You could armor a weapon up so much that you can't even aim it, right? And you could box it up. A lot of the meta builds and clan war builds, they just armor those low hit point weapons way up. Now notice, we now have no firing angle on these retchers. However, if you put them on something like legs, maybe even small tracks, or particularly hovers, instead of aiming the weapon, you can compensate by aiming the vehicle itself, which is one of the reasons hovers remain so popular, is if you take a weapon and you armor it up and you get rid of its firing angle, you can still aim it simply using your hovers. I mean, look at this thing. We've got a couple of bumper pieces here because bumper pieces make some of your best armor because they have damage resistance and they have high durability. I mean, we could slap this thing up with all kinds of stuff. We could just cover it in there and box it all the way up, and you could spend all day burying your weapon in there, making it much harder for the enemy to take out. Obviously, that's a bit of a heavy piece, but we're showing you guys these just as examples for new players to think about when they're making a build. What weapon am I going to use? What modules do I need to use for it? We'll get more into that later. And this episode is just about playing around, armoring up your weapons and protecting them, and thinking about what kind of part you're mounting them to. Because if you've got no weapons in Crossout, what do you have? Guys, that was a shorty. We're going to start our series, Why You Suck at Building. This one was weapons. Hope you enjoyed it. If you guys want more of these, like and subscribe for all things Crossout. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. As always, be good, stay safe. Mr. G out.